Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 18th episode of the Poseidcast. This is the second one where I'm having a guest, and with me tonight, I'm joined by none other than Victor Freeze. He goes by a couple other names, but I'll let him talk about that. Victor Freeze, what do you guys say to the people?
What's up, everyone? It is your boy Victor Freeze, aka Young Tommy Gun. Cause if you let me shoot my shot, I'ma shoot it till it stop. Aka Mr. Body Bag, aka the Grave Digger, aka the Cetrion Killer, aka Icky Vicky, aka the Outcast that will always outlast. Shout out to all the girls who cosplays Melina and Katana for me. They get all the glory. I am so happy to be here with you, Poseidon, man. This is gonna be great.
That's the best intro ever. That's the best intro to a Poseidcast episode yet. So that's great. I always love hearing you go on that, man. It's awesome, man. So Victor Freeze and I met a while ago towards the beginning of MK11, and I've kind of just been going back and forth to each other, some offlines, and just a lot of online each other streams, stuff like that. So Victor Freeze, I gotta ask, what got you into the Mortal Kombat community, or just the FTC in general? Like, if that wasn't your first game, what was? Take us through
Man,
that.
you know what's crazy, man? When I was super young, I played MK Deception. I was like, you know what? This game is pretty awesome. My dad got it for me for one of my birthdays or something. You know how when you're young, you don't remember when you get games, but
Of
I
course,
just
yeah.
remember having it. And I remember looking at Sub-Zero, and I was like, man, this character looks awesome. Like, I didn't know nothing about MK. I knew that, my mom used to play MK3 and MK4 a lot. And, MK Deadly Alliance was already out. And I knew about Mortal Kombat a little bit, but I didn't know none of the characters, and I just knew you get to kill people, and it was fun, right? So we get to Deception. I'm like, man, this character Sub-Zero looks so amazing. I want to know everything about this character. I love this character. This character's great, right? So that was kind of my first love in a fighting game, because I used to be, I don't know if you noticed, Poseidon, but I used to be a Madden player. Like, I used
Oh
to be a Madden
shit!
player. I used to go heavy
Like, you
on
go to
Madden.
tournaments and stuff?
Oh yeah, I used to be,
Oh,
even as a kid. I used to
really?
be heavy
Okay.
on Madden. We used to be, man, because I grew up in New Orleans,
Mhm.
New Orleans, Louisiana. We used
Oh,
to be in
okay.
the hood, Ninth Ward, Valence and Magnolia.
Mhm.
We always go outside. We have like, it wasn't called money matches back then, but it was essentially money matches.
Mhm.
You know, somebody put $100 on the table, and you put your $100 down, and let's see what happens. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying?
Damn. Okay.
And it used to get wild like that.
Yeah, I mean, playing for $100 games of Madden, definitely. But a lot of trash
Yeah, it
talk
used.
going on, a lot of angry people, a
Oh
lot of.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
trash talk. Hey, listen, there were some things on the table too, just in case you try to run off. Look,
Damn, paying
a
off.
kid probably shouldn't have been in that position, but I was there.
Yeah,
I was there, and
that's
I
enough for
loved
you.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that energy, and I didn't think you could get that with fighting games, because I grew up with a brother, and I grew up with two brothers, actually, one half brother and one full brother.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to play Madden all the time. But when it came to fighting games, I recognized that I loved it more than they did, because they
Mm-hmm.
was all on Madden and NBA Live, and like boxing games. Even though I love those
Mm-hmm.
games as well, but like, I just had this particular love for fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
I just had this passion for it,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
and
that's
then
awesome.
I went to my first tournament for Mortal Kombat Deception in New Orleans. Got
Whoa,
killed.
they had it
You know how it
offline
goes.
for Deception?
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh yeah.
awesome. That's so cool.
They did, man. They did, right at the arcade.
Mm-hmm.
I think we used to have a drugstore on the corner. They had an arcade in the back, and
Mm-hmm.
they used to bring the setup. I didn't even know what that was called back in the day. I'm just glad I get to play with other people that's not my brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We end up gooning. We end up getting it in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I was always losing. I was like, all right, well, it is what it is. But that used to, and then after Katrina, we moved to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And in Texas, there was an even bigger fighting game scene that I didn't know about. Like, in Texas, like, everybody on the block played fighting games. We ain't playing Madden no more.
Mm-hmm.
We playing fighting games now. Everybody's like, yo, you play Street Fighter, you play Tekken. Now, I used to be on Tekken too, but that's a different story. But
Mm-hmm.
like, you play Street Fighter and all that. I was like, nah, man, I play MK. And there was only a few. It's just like now. There's only a few people that's like, oh hell yeah, MK. Everybody was on Street Fighter, because this is just when Street Fighter 4 came out.
Okay, okay.
But I'm still
Well,
heavy on that MK.
yeah, yeah.
I'm still heavy on that. So we gaming. Long story short, we get to MK9, right?
Okay.
Now Like, and you know how you first get internet and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You checking out the blog every day. That was me. I'm checking out every character they announced. I was one of them kids. I'm a super fan,
Yeah.
right, of Mortal Kombat. Every day I would check the blog. I would check the MK9 blog every day, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We finally get the game. Day one, day uno, I was beating everybody on the block with Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero and Johnny Cage. I remember it like it was yesterday. Sub-Zero and Johnny Cage. And
if I remember,
it got to the,
Johnny was pretty good in that game, and Sub-Zero
Johnny was pretty.
What was
Johnny
Sub-Zero, like mid-tier, or was Sub-Zero good?
Sub-Zero was mid-tier, you know, but we ain't know what we ain't know.
Yeah, we ain't know. No, of course, back then, yeah.
All we knew was Slide and Ice Clone, you know.
Yeah.
But I knew Johnny Cage was good because, you know, I figured out later sometimes he could be +8, sometimes he could be +23, and it could be the same move. It's stupid, bro. He was stupid.
The 8
But
packs of
MK9, oh yeah, MK9, I figured out like they wouldn't play with me no more. Like the people on the block wouldn't play with me no more. I was just too good. You know, not to toot my own horn or anything, but that's just how it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, like how can I play with people? Oh, we could go online now. You know, we go online now. You know that online was bad.
Yeah, but we don't know any better, exactly. Especially back then.
We ain't know no better. Hey, I get to play Sub-Zero against millions of people now. That's all I knew. I ended up being, at one point in MK9's lifespan, I was top 25 on the leaderboard.
Oh, in ranked?
For MK9, yeah, in ranked.
Because they
but that was
like
with Johnny Cage.
Back
I couldn't
then,
do it
right?
with Sub.
It was just overall. Johnny. Yeah, with Johnny, that's fair.
Yeah, overall, I was in rank 25th.
Damn.
And that's when I saw that. My brother always like, man, you the best to ever do it. You know, like you the best to ever do this, man.
Hyping you up.
I'm looking, I'm like, maybe I can do this, but I ain't know nothing about Evo at the time. I ain't know nothing about like any of the majors at the time. Remember, I'm from the hood.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about no Evo or nothing. I don't know nothing about no Perfect Legend or nothing. You know, nothing like that. I ain't know nothing about no Rio or no 16-bit or nothing like that. I was just a goon. You know what I'm saying? It gets to Injustice, and this is when I was a junior in high school, and this girl that I had a crush on, that was in my newspaper class. You know, so she was a gamer, so you already know how that go. You know, I gotta make a move. You know what I'm saying? She was like, "Hey, you gonna watch CEO this year?" Like, what the hell, CEO?
CEO, shit.
Oh, what the hell is that? Like, I'm like the CEO of a company. Like, what you talking about? She like, nah, it's a gaming tournament. I'm like, gaming tournament, like, is it around here? It's like, nah, it's on the East Coast. I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And that was my first thing I checked out.
Injustice 1 tournament at Evo?
This was Injustice 1.
Yeah.
Yes. I was looking, I'm like, these people really good.
Oh.
Like these like there's some different.
Yeah, there's always like that introduction.
When you lose online, sometimes it's like, hey, you know, it could be online, you know,
it could
know
be a connection.
Like,
you have reasons, like, yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, you got reasons, you know. It's just like when you play a multiplayer game. Oh, it's my teammate.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly,
like,
exactly.
You know, you always have an excuse, but like when I saw these players and how just clean they were, they was doing stuff I never seen in my life, Poseidon. In my life. And I was heavy on Injustice because I used to play Solomon Grundy. He was born on a Monday, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
I used to play Grundy, and I used to play Superman, and I used to play Nightwing. And I was really good at Injustice, but when I saw them, I'm like,
it's a whole nother love.
It's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, me and my brother was watching it, and I was like, man, I don't think I'm as good as these players. You know? Like, I don't think I can match these players. He was like, maybe not now. But, that's all he keeps saying. Maybe not now.
Yeah. That's a good perspective.
But one day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, bro, you see what they doing? They doing like 50-hit combos and like they not getting hit and all this, right? He was like, man, one day, if you want it bad enough, you can do it. He would keep telling me that. One day,
that's good. I like that.
if you want it enough, you'll do it. Because he saw how passionate I was.
Yeah, I feel like when you had that like first introduction to the competitive scene, I remember that happened to me in college. Like a buddy played Smash. She's like, oh, I play competitively, and I was like, I would beat all my friends and stuff. So you think you're hot? She's like, oh, dude, let's play. Like I think I was so good, and he just demolished me. Like it wasn't even close, and it was just like, wow. Like there's just a whole nother level. Like when you realize like there's a whole nother level that I haven't even like began to understand yet. And that's like it could be it could either be a cool feeling or a deterring feeling. I think that's the moment where like you either are a member of the FTC or you're just a casual.
Exactly. And at like, because I was severely thinking, because I'm like, man, I can't do what Sonic Fox doing. I can't do it. I can't do what Perfect Legend doing, because I went back to watch the MK9 footage at this point. I'm like, I can't do what Perfect Legend doing. I can't do what 16-bit doing, man. You see what they doing?
I can't do that.
Like, you see what they doing? I ain't know Cabal could do half the stuff he could do.
The dash handles and stuff.
Like I would see it once or twice online. I'm thinking, okay, that man a god. You know what I'm saying? Like he put all kinds of hours in. But there's a legion of these people. You know, there's people that lose and that go 0-2 that do that. You know, which is the reality that me and you know now. Back then, I'm like, man. Like there's people in pools that would destroy me, getting killed. And I'm just like, man, and my brother would always tell me, man, if you put your mind to it, because you love these fighting games, you're the only one of us that can do it, man. You're the only one of us that can do it. So I'm like, yeah, man. So I played fighting games all through high school online. There was no local scene when I was in high school. I go off to college, Texas A&M. Go to Texas A&M.
Nice, that's cool.
You know what I'm saying? And there was a big Smash Brothers scene out there, Texas A&M. Big Smash Brothers scene. Now, I told you this story before, but when I get to Texas A&M, there was these dudes that would play Smash Brothers. Now, I thought I was nice at Brawl. I thought I was nice.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? The boys was like, hey, come to the room. You know what I'm saying? They got girls in there. They got the Cheetos in there. You know how it is. They got Cheetos, got the Mountain Dew in there, got some girls in there. I'm like, okay, like yeah.
I'll play some
you know what I'm saying? I go in there, man. I picked Ganondorf, man. I got killed. I got stir fried. Boy, it was bad. Because you know it's bad when somebody said Ganondorf. Are you sure?
He's like, I'm the best game.
I was like, yeah, man, you see me, man. I love Legend of Zelda. You know, I got the tattoo now. I didn't have the tattoo back then. But like, man, I love Legend of Zelda, man. You know, Ganondorf, my favorite villain, man. Like, what we doing, man? Because I like to talk crazy.
Yeah.
Back then, I was still talking crazy. I was talking crazy. They was like, nah, not around here, partner. I was like, okay. And then I ain't tell you this part of the story though. So in college, you know how they have like, you got the lunch hall, and then like sometimes they got like an area just where the kids can or the adults can meet. You know what I'm saying? That go into the school, whatever, right?
Yeah.
They had a fighting game invitational there where they had like the newest version of Street Fighter 4 at the time, because they had 20 versions of that game. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, fighting games? Well, I'm not, right? And they ain't got Smash there, so I might have a chance. So I'm like, okay, I go in there, man. And it was these two dudes that like, I went to CEO before, got 49th. I went to Evo and got like 97 for something,
Yeah.
Which means they respectable.
Like something, but it wasn't like they were top 8. But
they wasn't like that. But
they made a run.
They knew what they were doing. And I didn't know what I was doing. I go pick up Street Fighter 4. I get killed in that. I'm like, what's going on? But what I noticed was nobody was at the MK setup. So I was like, man, let me go to MK, man, because these boys. So this is when MKX was out. So yeah, let me go to MK, man. These boys tripping. And I was kind of nice at MKX. I was kind of nice. I used to play Master of Storms Raiden.
Okay.
I played Flame Fist Liu Kang. I played Fisticuffs Johnny.
Okay.
I played Jax. You know what I'm saying? I played Kung Lao. So I had a multitude of I played they wasn't out yet, but I played with Raicho. I played Predator, Alien, played Tremor,
the whole cast. Leatherface, I played Jason. I played Tanya.
And I played Jason, and I played Tanya. Oh yeah, like I had a bunch of characters in that game.
I played Reptile. Played Ermin. Okay.
I did play a little bit of Reptile. I played Noxious Reptile. I was killing people.
Reptile was cool in that game. Yeah.
I was killing people. Like it got to the point. It was just like I was in the hood again. Nobody wanted to play me.
So it gets you
Like
just get too good and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna win. I have no chance. Yeah.
I'm not gonna win. I have no. And these are people like I'm beating people that I didn't know at the time, but they went to Evo and CEO and like some regionals in the area and was putting up numbers. And I was killing them.
So that moment where you're like, okay, maybe I should start going.
Yeah, I was like, hey, maybe I have something here. But they didn't want to tell me they went to these places because they, I'm already talking.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? What you talking
yeah.
about? Ain't none of y'all can beat me in here. Right? And so, I rubbed some people the wrong way in college when it came to fighting games. But, you know what I'm saying? The people that rocked with me, they knew what it was.
Absolutely.
So I stuck with them. These people played Ultimate Marvel 3, right? I got killed in that game too. I can't play that game. They was playing Street Fighter. I got a lot better at Street Fighter because of those people at Texas A&M that would beat my ass. I got a lot better at Street Fighter.
Yeah, getting your ass beat over.
I got a lot. Oh yeah, I got a lot better at Tekken. I got a lot better at Smash Bros.
This makes a lot of sense because I know that you have a multitude of video games or fighting games that you play. It seems like all of the main ones, at least, that you have some sort of prowess in. So that's really cool.
Oh yeah, and the last point I'm gonna make about college is when Injustice 2 was swinging. We had this tournament at Injustice 2, $500. Now in college, we scrapping for $500.
Yeah,
right?
I'm scrapping $500 now. What are you talking about?
I'm about to say we scrapping for $500 to this day. But in college, it was worse because I had my girl at the time, my ex-fiance. You know what I'm saying? And she ain't play fighting games, but she was like, "Hey, that's $500, and I know you play this game. So guess what?
Go get it."
So the finals comes that I lose winners round 1. So I'm like, God,
damn. I thought you were
I bring it all the way. I bring it all the way back to Grands, and this guy that I had to play in Grands was at Combo Breaker and got like 16th. I didn't know.
Do you know who it was?
Right. I didn't. I don't remember to this day who it was. I'm gonna have to check up the year and I get back to you on that. But it was a guy who went to Texas A&M, got 16th at fucking Combo Breaker for Injustice 2. I 6-0'd him.
Damn.
The Scarecrow. He played Dr. Fate. I remember it like it was yesterday. I just don't remember his name. He played Dr. Fate. I played Scarecrow, and I'm like, and usually I like to, because you know me now, I like the zone. So you would think I was playing Dr. Fate, but I was like, nah, Scarecrow's awesome. Scarecrow's one of my favorite villains. I'm playing Scarecrow. And I 6-0'd him with Scarecrow. Got the 500. And now I'm looking like, yeah, like I'm tearing up things in the room.
I'm the best. Yeah.
Yo, I'm the best. Hey, no one stop, man. My ex-fiance had to grab me by the shoulders, like, hey, shut the fuck up. I'm like, nah, you know what I'm saying? I'm going crazy. I'm throwing stuff.
Doing the shovel thing. Doing the shovel.
Oh, boy, I was going crazy in there. Yeah. And like he was just looking at me. He just kept looking at me. He was like, hey, have you ever went to any tournaments? I was like, nah, man, I'm broke. I'm broke. I ain't going to nowhere. He was like, I hope you go to tournaments one day, man. He just dipped out. And that stuck with me. I was like, okay. So now I'm out of college. I'm on my own. Well, I'm with my ex-fiance. The first tournament the first time I actually traveled somewhere, and shout out to the homie Black Jesus.
Oh shit! DJ.
Shout out to the homie Black Jesus. This is when MK11 was swinging, and you know how MK11 was. Boy, yeah. we was gooning on 11, right?
Yeah, right in the beginning of 11, dude, it was bumping. It was bumping.
So at this point, like just from a competitive standpoint, because I was already commentating a little bit because I watched a tournament, right? And I was looking, and I was like, man, these commentators suck. I can do better than that. And no offense to the people that was commentating, but I was like, man, these people suck. Like, where's KP at? Like, where's KP at? Where's Mr.
Shout out to
Aquaman?
KP. Yeah, KP, Aquaman, Darth Arma, and
Darth Arma. I'm like, yeah, where are these people at?
Ultra
these
David.
People, they got sucked.
Yeah, those are the four that like got me into the scene. Those are like the four that stuck with me right at the beginning when I first got into the NRS community.
Oh yeah. And shout out to Destroyer too. I really like Destroyer's commentary too.
Yeah, Destroyer was.
I was like, man, these man, these commentators suck, man. Like, what's going? Not the commentator I just listed.
Yeah, I
but
know. They all
people
suck.
that
I'm the
weren't
best. That'd be so funny.
I was like, man, like that's. Do you realize that's how I got into commentary? Was because I said,
you just
man,
realized
these
you'd be better?
commentators suck. I can do better than this.
Did you?
And I mean, listen, the resume speaks for itself. At this point, we keep it going.
Yeah.
Resume speaks for itself. We keep it going though. You know, and I had to beg people because, you know, in MK11, what was I known for before I went to offlines? I was that trash talking motherfucker online, talking and yelling, and in people's chats like, you suck, you won't money match me, you won't play me, everybody's scared of me, people scared of my Liu Kang. This is before Raiden got buffed, so you know what it was. You know what I'm saying? I was on the Liu Kang train. I was on Liu Kang, I was on Kano, you know what I'm saying? And I was talking. And I felt like people didn't like that, which I respect, but that fueled me more because I'm like, oh, y'all don't like that I'm talking? Well, guess what? I'm talking, Mo, and y'all ain't playing me, and blah, blah, blah. Right?
Yeah.
So me and Black Jesus was cool. He hit me up. He was like, hey man, you wanna come to my house? We throwing a tournament. I was like, hey, you live in Texas? He was like, nah, I live in Florida. I was like, dang. But I got money now.
Ooh, yeah.
So I'm like, I got money now. I was like, all right, let me see how much the plane is. If the plane over 300, I ain't coming. Plane was 128 there and back.
You're like, all right.
I was like, my ex-fiance was asking smart questions at the time. She was like, so how long you gonna stay there? I was like, probably like 3 days. Where you gonna stay? I don't know.
I don't know.
What you gonna eat when you out there? I don't know. What you gonna bring out there? 2 change of clothes in my controller. She was like, what? I was like, hey, I'm thugging it.
What do you mean? I'm bringing what I need.
And she was like, well, I'm not going. So I was like, I guess I'll go by myself then. It don't matter to me. Yeah. So I flew out there. I flew out there. And it was so awesome to meet. That was the first time I met Dialogue. That was the first time I met Black. I met Gruesome. Like, that's the first time I met Money Too Sweet. She was out there.
Oh, okay.
Man, and people was like, man, you way different offline, man. Like, you a cool person. I was like, yeah, man, I just like talking.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I was like, I just like talking. And when the tournament started, guess what? I was still talking.
And after it ended, I was still talking.
After it ended, I was talking. Oh, that's the first time I met Kairos too, who used to be part of TGC.
Yeah, I know Kairos.
Yeah, man, Kairos. So funny story about that. Kairos was mad at me because, you know, I was talking online. Yeah. So he called me offline. He was like, so what about that money match you was talking about? And I was like, well, mama told me never to duck no fade. So guess what? You know what I'm saying?
What's running right now?
I got the 50 right here. Man, I 5'2'd him. I was like, man, give me my money. And then I went on a whole rant on Black Jesus' stream. I think he still got like the clip up. Like, you know how
I'm gonna need to plug it. Yeah, I'm gonna need to.
Yeah, I think he still had the clip up. Man, I was talking crazy. I was like, man, you know what? Hold up. All these people think they better than me. Well, I'm out here offline and y'all online and y'all all suck. Y'all all can't beat me. I'm the best. I'm going in. Yeah. And, you know what I'm saying? And that's how me and Black got real cool, man. Me, Black, and Gruesome, man, we got real cool, man. Because they were some cool dudes. They looked out for me. They showed awesome. They showed me which spot to get that was going to be cheap. That was going to break the bank. Shout out to HDGG, man. They some goons, man. And anytime I get to join one of their tournaments, I'm gonna do it, man.
Tuesday nights. Shout them out.
Tuesday nights, man. They was awesome, man. Like, they helped me out. They, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, shout out to Black Jesus and his wife. Shout out to Gruesome. Shout out to Dialogue, man. Because Dialogue, you know, me and Dialogue are kindred spirits, man. He just like me.
Yeah.
He be talking. He be throwing shit. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, you know
Chucking
what I'm saying?
chairs.
I'm like, yeah, you know, let's get busy then. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm matched to the energy. He beat me, though. He beat me at the tournament, though. I ain't gonna let him live it down.
Dialogue's demon 11. Like, Dialogue's a demon now, but even in 11, he was super solid.
In 11, he was great, man. His spawn was so good,
and the Shao, too. The Shao was sick.
Like, it was so good that it was scary, man. And I was like, okay, now I could really make something. You know, now my first major CEO 2021, you know, when they let everybody back.
I was at that tournament.
In Orlando, because I wasn't going to no hick town that hates my kind. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
But I'm gonna
shit.
go to Orlando though.
Uh-huh.
At this point, you know what I'm saying, I'm riding solo dolo. You know what I'm saying? My ex fiance was gone at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I was sad about it, but also I was kind of like, well, silver lining. Nobody gonna be mad at me for going to these events. So guess
Yeah,
what?
that's very
I'm
true.
going. You know what I mean? I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
So me and the Mash House boys, shout out to Mash House.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? They got us out there.
Shout out to Madhouse. Yeah.
There was shout out to Mash House because when I first got to Mash House, day one, I was beating everybody there until my homie Corey the Dragon, my big brother, he came through. He was like, "Oh, you beat everybody." Oh, well, that's because I didn't get off work yet, and just started beating the brakes off me.
Oh shit! Okay, I know.
And I was like, okay. Yeah. I still got a ways to go, you know. I was like, I still got a ways to go.
So it was like getting reminded that like you just get like, all right, like I'm still not there. It's not the top. I'm not where I want to be. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So before I go on, shout out to Icy Boogie. Shout out to I'm Jay, aka I'm Trash. Shout out to Oni San. Shout out to Corey the Dragon. Shout out to Gnarly Gato Alex. Shout out to Micah. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Akuma. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all my boys. Shout out to Big Trill. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to ISO Ricky. Mash House boys. Shout out to Kev. Shout out to Ben Ross. These are all Mash House boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that was there when I got there.
When I had KIT 20, I think it was 2022 or 2021. I had to play Cusco, and those Mash House boys were out in force. There was like 20 people behind us. They were all like, Cusco.
Oh, Cusco. Shout out to Cusco. Shout out to Big Omnis as well. Mash House, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, oh yeah. Omnis actually hit me up. He was like, "Hey, don't you live in Texas? Don't you live in Dallas?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like, well, here's his address. He's like, "Here's his address. Come through. I'm gonna fuck you up." I was like, "All right."
I bet. Yeah.
And that was Mash House, pretty much. And I got there, and I was good. I was like, I was good getting there, but there was another level.
Of course.
And then we gain. I get there more and more and more and more, and we keep growing. We go out to shout out to Young San Rose as well, Mash House. We go out to CEO 2021. I'm scared. I'm scared, man. I am nervous because listen, this is my first major. You know.
Yep. Yeah,
I'm like, man. And you know, I had a little girl at the time. I ain't gonna say her name, but she doing big things in the scene as well. You know, we go keep it like that. If you know, you know. But I had a girl at the time, and she was like, "Listen, you can do this. Like, you can do this, right?" I'm like, "Okay." I was scared that I was gonna go 0-2, man, because remember, I'm just flashing back to the stories of seeing those people that couldn't beat me. I mean, that could beat me going 0-2.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like,
I'm seeing those, and I'm like, that's gonna be me. Somebody's gonna get inspiration off of me going 0-2. Right?
Yep.
I can't let that happen. So I'm going, right? And we out there, and the first Tekken day. I mean, not the first Tekken day, the first MK day. I get there, and I'm like, oh my god. There's a lot of people here. There's some people that I know, like Ninja Killer. I knew who he was from the MKX days. Sonic Fox, you know, he was floating around. I see the twins, you know, Mighty Unjust and El Kakui. I knew who they were. You know, I see you know, Furious Pillow. Saw him out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. What's that, Big Pillow?
All right, yeah. I was like, I saw him out there.
He knocked me out of Combo Breaker this year.
I saw Big Daddy G. I saw him out there. I saw, like, I was just seeing these people. I'm like, man, we played online, and I talk shit. I talk shit to half these people. So, and then people saw me. It was like, Vic. I looked. I'm like, oh, here we go. So I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? I was talking crazy, so you know, I'm ready for whatever.
Gotta back it up.
I'm like, yeah, I'm Vic. He was like, hey, you're a great rating player. I was like, what?
Wait a second.
Like, yeah, man. He's like, yeah, man, you're a great player, man. I was like, man, thank you, man. And that made me feel good. I think it was I forgot who it was. It was oh my god, I forget. But I forget. But you know who you are. You're awesome. So I sit down to play my first match, right?
Mm.
Heart's beating out my chest.
Mm.
Beating out my chest. 3-0. I'm like, yeah, all right. At least I'm not going 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I got to play Bacon Lord next. Like, Bacon Lord next.
Oh,
now, at this
shit.
point, I didn't know who Bacon Lord was.
Uh.
Like, at this point, it was just another Cetrion player to me.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yep.
And you know one of my nicknames, Cetrion Killer, so I got to show out.
Yeah.
So it was Bacon Lord. Bacon Lord was cool though, but I ain't really know him like I know him now.
Yeah.
Murked him, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He got his get back at Frosty, so you know what I'm saying, it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He got his get back now, but we 1-1 now.
Mm-hmm.
But I smashed him then.
Mm-hmm.
And then I smashed another person.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like somebody like a TO came up to me, congratulations, you out of pools.
Mm-hmm.
You in top 36.
Hmm.
I was like, what? I was like, hey man, all you gotta do is are you gonna be on winner's side or loser's side?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta play Big Daddy G on stream.
Oh boy.
I was like, my first major and I'm on stream, bro. They was like, yeah. Man, I get up there and KP, he recognized me as I'm going up there. He's like, oh, that's Vic. Oh, what's up, Vic? Oh my God. I was like, bro, this is one of my idols, bro. This is one of the reasons I do this, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and he recognized me. You know, like this is one of the reasons I commentate now, Poseidon.
Yeah, no, KP is a big one of the people that got me into the scene as well.
And he recognized, he's like, oh, Vic, oh my God, this is Raiden, man. This Raiden crazy, man. He gonna zone you, man. So I played Big Daddy G on stream.
Uh-huh.
I ended up losing, but it was a great experience.
Yeah,
it was a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
And but I all I knew is that I made it to the next day.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next day, I had to play the person that sent KP out of bracket.
Mm-hmm.
It was this Cassie Cage player.
Shafts,
I know
right?
I know you know who it is.
Shafts, right?
I'm just forgetting. Yeah, Scavs. Yes, Scavs.
Yeah.
And people was telling me Scavs was a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was a killer. He's like a top 5 Cassie Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is gonna be tough for you. You might lose this one, but it's okay. You did us all proud.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know who this dude is. Right? Like, and my mentality weird. My mentality is until you beat me, you ain't nothing to me.
That's fair.
Like, I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how much clout you got or whatever. Can you beat me though?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could probably beat everyone else, but can you beat me?
Mm-hmm.
But KP came up to me. He was like, hey, this is the guy that took me out of bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Get him for me.
Like, oh shit, I gotta do this.
I was like, I got you, man.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, nah, I don't think you hear what I'm saying. Get him for me. I'm like, I'm gonna zone this man out.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you every game went to a timeout, Poseidon, I did not interact with this man once. This is like this is my favorite way of playing fighting games. I like to play lame, man. I don't want to play. I don't want to fight. I don't want to throw hands with you.
Yeah, some people like shooting games, you know. Like...
Yeah, I don't want to throw hands with you, man. I want to be over here throwing my lightning bolts and flawless blocking your guns. That's what we gonna do. Raiden... And if you throw guns too willy-nilly, guess what? I have a teleport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Raiden was one of the best walkback characters just because of that. Because of the teleport and his zoning options and stuff. His walkback and his hurt box would be like super tiny sometimes, like when the walkback and stuff. He was just like, he was a menace to deal with, especially people who were willing to play patient with him.
Oh yeah, people like to talk crazy about MK11 Poseidon, and I do understand some of the gripes. But listen, when I say I love that the characters felt like the characters, if that makes any sense. Like Scorpion felt like Scorpion. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. The only exception is Sub-Zero because he didn't have his ice clone. That's the only reason I didn't play Sub-Zero.
That character was still broke. Let's be real.
Oh yeah,
that character was done.
And Raiden felt like Raiden. He felt like a god. You know,
yep.
He had back 1-2. He had he had these big, powerful looking moves.
Grab, the mix,
you know, command grab, mix. And when I tell you, I did not let Scavs get near me once.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get near me once. I was gone. I beat him. It was 3-1. I beat him. And I'm like, yeah, man, I got up, right? I'm going crazy. Everybody turning around. Like, some people's like, oh, that's Vic. Yeah. I'm glad he do that offline too.
Same thing. It's always nice in
Same
January.
thing.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing different. I'm going crazy. But I threw a chest somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I remember on that day, I met a very special player that day. I met Poseidon that
Oh
day.
shit!
You know what I'm
We did.
saying?
Yeah, I
I
remember
did
that.
meet Poseidon. I met you that day, bro. You was as cool as you was online, bro. I do remember that, bro.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. I remember
Uh,
that tournament because there's like some people came from like South America. I didn't have to play like one of the Chilean twins, but I had to play like another player who came because like Boogie and I were supposed to
yeah.
play, but I had to play in round one. I lost to him in game five. Boogie also lost to him, so this guy was an actual killer. I think he lost to like
Yes.
Woozy. I had to play him again in losers.
Oh my
It's
god.
1-1. He's playing Raiden because he played like Liu Kang, but then he switched to like Melina. He played Raiden. He was playing a few different characters, so he was on Raiden.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I got Raiden experience, so I have literally basic game winning combo, just B and B into Fatal. But it was at one of those percents where it was like, should I go like if I went for the easier combo, it might not have killed. So like I second guessed myself.
Oh,
And
so yeah,
dropped
it's in that middle ground.
Yeah, it was like I can go for the super easy one, or I could just do the B and B, which is like a little harder. And I just overthought it. I dropped it. I just did like stands. I'm doing like 1-2-1. I just did stand one, and then he just dropped. And then I had to win neutral again. He ended up killing me, and then he ended up winning the next game. So I lost. Instead of going up 2-1, I ended up going down 2-1, and then I just lost the next game.
Man, that's the worst.
Yeah, it was like because I was like playing online and stuff like that. Like, people, Sign's good, and then I lost to this guy, like drowned in pools. It was like, because that was like the first big offline back, so it was like what a lot of people were paying attention to. A lot of people came out, flew out, stuff. So
yeah, man, but it was great. It was great meeting you, meeting Skash, man. Skash is so cool, man.
Yeah, so cool, dude. He's a cool dude.
Like y'all was so cool, man. Y'all was cool to me, just like y'all was cool online to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was great, man. I was like, man, you know what, man? I could be a part of this scene forever, man. The way people was treating me out there, man.
Yeah,
it was so great. And I ended up losing to one of my Mash House brothers. Shout out to Chubby McChubby's Mash House.
He went on a run that weekend.
He went on a run.
Yeah.
He went on a big run. So me and him was going crazy together. We was the last two mashers in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
We were the last two mashers because the people that we expected to get top 16, they drowned. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's the killers out here, man. These pools are
dangerous.
dangerous.
It was just me and him. I was like, bro, why it gotta be me and him?
Yeah.
When I tell you, it went to game 5 because we both know how each other play.
Yeah, so
it's always hard when you face someone you always face at the local.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and he plays Scorpion.
It went to game 5.
That counter zoning, like you can't just zone them like you normally can other characters.
It went to game 5, final round.
Mm-hmm.
I lost the back one, man. I was faced back one. I'm like, oh no, man.
Damn.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, bro, because I want your viewers to hear this because it's okay for men to show emotion, man. I started crying, man.
Mm-hmm. No,
I started crying. I was like, man, I was just so frustrated with myself.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I could have won that, man. I lost to somebody that I look up to, my homie Chubby McChubbers. I look up to the man. I'm always look up to him because he's such a cool dude. But I was like, man, I wanted to go further, man. I started crying, man. He came up and hugged me, man. He was like, look, I may not be here again, but you gonna be here again. He's like, I may not be here again, but you gonna be here again. You gonna be here again, man. So you take this and you learn, and you make sure you never feel like this again. I was like, yeah, man. He went on to play. He lost to El Kakoi. He lost to El Kakoi. Played Sechion. I was like, oh, it's over. I was like, it's done.
GG's.
He was upset because he was like, man, I should have let Vic win because Vic could have beat a Sechion. But the whole rest of the tournament, the whole rest of the tournament was great, and and at that time, I realized this crazy MK community that we in, we can make something out of this, and that's the partial story of where I am now, like from as an adolescent to CEO 2021, man, like.
Yeah, that's a big.
That's how I got there.
Didn't you and Ludi also win the 2v2 tournament? Or you guys made it super far?
Yes, we did.
I think I remember that.
Won the 2v2.
Yeah.
Because it was randomized.
It was random teams. Yeah.
And me and Ludi was on the team. We looked at each other. He was like, "You gonna play Raiden?" I was like, "You already know." He was like, "Then we gonna win."
It's like Gaskell and Raiden. Yeah, that's a deadly team.
He was like, He was like, "Don't play that Kano you've been playing. Don't play that Kano." I was like, "All right, bro, I ain't gonna play Kano." I was like, "Hey, bring your all. I'm gonna bring my all. We gonna win this." And we almost lost. We almost lost
Yeah,
too.
there was like a killer team. There was like Hatman and someone else, but I can't remember.
Oh,
But
Hatman and someone. It was DJT and Gnarly Gato Alex on the team. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, bro, who put this demonic team together, bro?
Yeah.
A Killer Jackson, DJT. You can't hit DJT, man.
No, yeah, I got it.
I was like, hey, Luda, you gonna have to
was...
take out DJT, man. I can't beat the man.
Yeah.
I can't beat him.
Like I don't know how he made Jax look good. I don't know, care. There wasn't many people on Jax, but he was super selling.
Bro, he played Jax so demonic.
Mm-hmm.
It was and it got to the point where you knew what he was doing, but like you just couldn't stop that man.
Yeah.
The only way I beat him, I was like, bro, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I'm zoning you, bro. Like,
you know how it be.
We not doing this, bro. So yeah, that was the story, man. And then like I got more commentary gigs after that.
Yeah, I remember you commentating KIT.
Yeah, I commentated 7 games at KIT, 3 top 8s at KIT.
Damn.
The final KIT,
the final,
a KIT that I watched when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I used to love KIT, and I get to commentate 7 games, 3 top 8s at the final KIT. Man, you couldn't tell me nothing that day, boy.
That's awesome.
You couldn't tell me nothing that day. I was crying after I finished. I was like, man, like, thank you for. I'm thanking everybody. Thank you for giving me a chance, man. They was like, all right, man, like you good. I was like, nah, man, you don't know what this means to me. Poseidon, you don't know what video games, in particular fighting games, mean to me, man. Fighting games saved my life, Poseidon.
Dude, same.
They saved my life.
I can honestly, it's the same thing, dude. Like, I was going through like a really hard time in college. Like, it was my freshman year. And after that happened, I kind of found like the Smash community, like Summer Tuesday right after that, and just like kind of having something that you can like strive for and like improve at in life when everything kind of feels like it's going crazy in the background. You kind of have this like release thing to go to, this thing that you can put effort into, you can, have fun with, but you can also progress at, and like, you start to beat people you couldn't beat before, or you start to do things, start to get recognition. Mm-hmm. People start to be like, yo, you're my favorite Joker player or whatever. It's just like, whoa, like I'm people are like, that's like a crazy thing to hear, because I was just playing some video games, in my room in my house, or going to these places and getting bodied not that long ago. So it's definitely a super real thing.
Yeah, man. Like fighting it, man. I like, cause I'm diagnosed with depression. You know what I'm saying? Severe depression. A lot of people don't know that, but I got that. And there's been a lot of times where it's like, look, it could be over for the kid. Yeah, there's a lot of times it could be over for the kid. Like it could have been done, and there was times I was almost done. Like, you know what? I ain't waking up tomorrow, man.
Very happy you're still here.
Yeah, man. It was like, but I remember this one instance in particular that I'm gonna share with y'all. Like, there was this one time I was going through a lot. My ex-fiance, look, we ended on bad terms. You know what I'm saying? It got pretty bad at the end, pretty ugly. And I'm like, and everybody in my family was kind of counting on me to get married, because there's a lot of dysfunctional marriages in my family. And
kind of like,
now I'm part of that.
Happening?
Yeah, I'm part of that. Now I got to answer all these questions. I just didn't want to answer no more questions. I don't want to answer nothing else. I was like, man, I'm done, man. You know what? I'm done. Yeah. It's over, man. It's over. But then there was this one dude. I don't remember his name. But there was this one dude. He was like, hey, man, can we play? Can we play MK? I was like, yeah, man, we can play MK. And I tell you, this is one of the best MK games that we played. We was gaming, right? And we was evenly matched. It's not like I was killing him. He wasn't killing me. We was gaming. And he was like, hey, man, can we play tomorrow? Like, can we play tomorrow? I was like, yeah, man, we could play tomorrow. That was it.
Yeah, you're like, well, I said I was.
Because I'm like, man, I ain't gonna let this man down.
Yeah,
we gonna play tomorrow. And then we played tomorrow. Hey, can we play another time? And I was like,
yeah, okay.
Well, I can't go now. Because then there was other people like, man, I love what you do. I love your commentary. I love the way you play. I love the way you talk. I love that you're yourself. You help me be myself. Like, I'm a talker, and I didn't think people would like me talking, and I saw how you've been talking and you be doing everything, but people still respect you and I respect you. And I'm like, man, like I can't go, man.
Yeah. When you realize, yeah,
Like,
like maybe I could do this.
yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
I could be an inspiration to some people. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I could be that,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
But it was like I can't go now.
Yeah. You make someone else's life better. It's like,
Yeah,
I should stay here. Yeah.
yeah, maybe I should stay. And even to this day, sometimes I feel down, and sometimes I get to that dark place, and
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes I'm like, man, I don't know. But then I understand, like, there's people that hit me up now that I'm older. Because
Mm-hmm.
when I started with like actually being known,
Mm-hmm.
I was young,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm 28.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm
And
29.
now people messaging,
Yeah.
yeah, and now people messaging me like, yo, I've been watching you for a long time. I'm like, what? I've been listening to your commentary for years. I'm like, what?
Year? Has it
I've
really
been
been
listening to your
years?
commentary. I've been listening to your commentary in high school, Poseidon. In high
Yeah.
school, remember, I've been commentating for 5 years. It's
Yeah.
been 5 years already.
Yeah, there's people who listened to you in high school who graduated college by the time it's now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you understand how wild that is, bro?
No, that's crazy. No, 100%.
Now, I mean, I'm not on the level of KP and Aquaman, but people told me, man, I love your commentary. I was saying that to KP when I met him. I was saying that to Aquaman when I met him.
Yeah.
And now people saying that to me.
Yeah, I remember you made a tweet not that long ago, and you were talking about like you had all these goals that you set out for, and then you kind of just looked back and realized like I achieved like most of them or like all of them.
Yes.
I remember you said that.
Yes.
And I was like, I mean, you got the top 8 like NEC, and then you got like the 9th at Combo Breaker, which people say like, oh, 9th, but that's still a big accomplishment. You commentated the last KIT, which is a big known, like, who doesn't know about KIT? So like to do all these things in the community. I know you won tournaments. I know you're the king of Oklahoma.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, so like you've done a lot.
I've done, and you know what's wild? You don't notice until you actually look back beside it. And it's like, I remember I was in high school. I was in my bed. I was like, okay, now that I figured out about this, I was like, I'm a make a top 8. I'm gonna win a tournament, right? And then when I started commentating, I was like, okay, I'm gonna commentate. The last thing on my list, Poseidon, is commentating top 8 major. That is the last thing on my list. And what I told everybody was, once I do that, I'm done. Once I commentate top 8 at a major, I'm gonna ride off into the sunset.
Be done with that.
And that's what I was thinking for a long time, because I'm like, man, once I do that, man, like, because I see my homie Tento, man. Shout out to Big Tento, man.
Oh,
making
moves.
Doing
everything.
He's doing his thing. He's a goat, man.
Not to
what I'm saying?
Yeah, not to stop your story, but I'm making like the MK1 top 100, and I'm doing a highlight for each player, and like I shit you not, 50% of the commentary is a Tento clip. Like
yeah, man. Like so good. Like he's so good. I had the chance to commentate with Tento, man, and we work so well together. And I think it's a healthy jealousy, I would say.
Yeah.
He doing his
like
thing.
You aspire to be. It's not like you.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm like, I'm just like, and no shade, man. I'm just as good as him. I'm just no shade at all. No bad blood. No nothing. I just know I'm just as I could be just as good as Tento. I could be just as good as KP. I could be just as good as Mr. Aquaman, because people have told me that, multiple people, again and again. Man, you can do this. You are great, man. You are great at this. You have a natural talent for this. You can do this.
Yeah.
And once multiple people tell you that, you start to believe it.
Yeah. At some point, you start to be like, yeah, maybe I am. It. Yeah.
So that's what I need before I go. I need to commentate, because look, I mean, I got Knife at Combo Breaker. I was so close. You don't want to know how many tears fell when I lost to video games, yo. Because I was so hype after beating you. I'm sorry, my bro. I'm sorry.
That made me look good.
You know how we game. You know how we game, though. Like, how we game. We both knew each other inside and out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you beat me that first game, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a long day. Long day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We ended up gaming, man. Like,
we had
but
like
I was
the
hyped
death pool
beating you
too. Yeah.
I was
Like,
hyped about Goku BZ.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I beat him to get top 36 winners. I
Mm.
lost to Aztec. I ran it all the way back.
Mm-hmm.
I ran it all the way back. Beat Honeybee, who's
Mm.
been on major stages.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Top 8 beat
And
Sonic Fox
you
multiple
don't want to
times.
know the stuff I broke once I beat Honeybee, boy. I threw a
I
chub.
remember that. I
threw
was
a
there. I
hat,
was watching that
I
video.
almost threw
I
a
remember,
person. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
you popped off, but understandably so.
Like, and my favorite part, shout out to Boogie, he was like, take him for a walk. Take him for a walk. Do not let him get close to you.
Yeah.
Take him for a walk.
You played that Devora matchup so well. I remember watching it like, this looks awful for Devora. I'm not sure if it was, but
yeah.
the way you played it, you made it look so bad.
See,
like,
I think
wow.
because he messed around and picked the wrong variation. Well, he didn't pick a wrong variation. He picked a variation that in particular does well with Raiden, but not well against me.
Mm-hmm.
So he was already one game down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, nah, I'm taking him for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking it. Like, even if I lose the next game, it's going to be 2 timeouts.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be 2. I'm taking him for a walk.
Take him for a
I
walk.
ended up beating him. I almost threw somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I was so hyped. And then I lost to video games, yo, man. I remember crying. I was like, man, I hate this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It sucked. My brother actually had to call me after I lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got knife. He was like, hey, bro. Remember what I told you, man? I told you was the only one that can do it, man. Look at you now, man. You got knife, man. You know how many people was there? You know how stacked that tournament was, man? What you doing crying for? Stop being a little bitch, man. You got knife, man.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, not to pat myself on the back. I got 33rd, so
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know how stacked it was? You know, like it was like that was stacked to the gills, that combo breaker.
Yeah, because it was CEO that was like the first coming out, and then Combo Breaker was like 6 months later. It was like this was like the second coming out, so like everyone was there. The Chilean twins were there. Like it was crazy.
Back to the gills, and the only thing that made me feel better is because I left the venue. I was done. I was like, oh man, I can't watch top 8, man. I'm about to cry. You know. I come back, and the UK twins stopped me. Ketchup and mustard. They was like, man, your Raiden is amazing, man. I'm so glad to have watched you this tournament. Bro, I started crying again, bro. I was like, bro, like I look up to y'all, man.
Yeah,
what
Ketchup
y'all
and
doing,
Mustard,
man?
yeah. If you're familiar at all with the competitive scene, like, you know, that's another one of those, like, Aquamans, Ultra David.
That's another one.
You know those
like,
people for, like, their content's so good, their commentary so good, they're so good at the game. It's just so cool.
I was like, bro, I'm about to cry again, bro. I was like, bro, man. I was like, bro, y'all can't do this to me right now, man. But like, yeah, I told some people, like certain people, like that's the last thing that I want, because I don't think I'm gonna make top 8 at a major. I mean, I could, but when I thought about it, I was like, that wouldn't make me feel as good as commentating top 8 for a major. I almost had it at Texas Showdown. I almost had it. I was there. And I commentated a lot at Texas Showdown. I commentated Tekken 8, which people loved. People loved my commentary on Tekken 8. I commentated 2 blocks of MK pulls, and you know how they treat us dirty at events. You know, MK, they treat us dirty, man. Because at Tekken they had snacks and they had water for us, and you know what I'm saying. I was like, ooh, I get to have Chips Ahoy, you know. I get to MK, it's grimy, you know what I'm saying. Bring your own water. I was like, dang, you know what I'm saying.
The Corral, they're wearing
gloves.
Like,
I was like, bro, I can't get no Chips Ahoy, you know.
nothing for your boy. All right.
I was like, it was grimy out there, but hey, I loved it though. But you know, shout out to Texas Showdown. I know y'all ain't mean it, man, but it was just like, it was just weird how they treated, they treated Texas commentators.
Yeah.
And MK commentator was grimy. It was like, hey, we sitting here and we getting busy. You know what I'm saying? And I had a chance to get busy with Mr. Aquaman. You know, and we was flowing, man. And you know, he ended up commentating top 8, and I was like, next time I want top 8. Like it's getting to the point, Poseidon, where I got to be a little greedy about it. Like I deserve this. I think if there's one person that deserves this after 5 years, remember there was a time, Poseidon, when I was on commentary every day for MK for like 6 months to a year. I was on
SRS events.
SRS events, Outworld events. I would commentate events that had like 10 signups and only 15 people in the stream, and I still do it because that's how much I love it, Poseidon. I love this. This is like a lot of people can't say they love it like I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love this.
I love the passion, and it's really cool to see because it's like something so like it's like arbitrary as a video game, but it's so much deeper than that, and like being able to discover that aspect because people look at it and be like, "Dude, it's just a video game." But then when you get to the next layer and you realize like, okay, there's like it's this video game, but it's a community. There's so much depth to it. It's like a sport in a way. Like being like really dedicated like to a sport, whether that's sport commentary or playing or whatever, your content or whatever, like you're an analyst or whatever. It's like it's to that level for sure.
Yeah, it's to that level, like, and I feel like I've earned this. I've earned this. Every one of my peers, even people that are worse than me, have gotten there. I've earned this. I feel like now I feel like I commentate circles around anybody you put me around. I can work with anyone. I can work for anyone. I can do whatever you need me to do. Just give me the chance. I'ma kill it. And if you ask the community, if there was just a poll of people they wanted to see on top 8s that haven't gotten it before, Victor Freeze be on the top of the list. I guarantee
top of my list.
Victor Freeze be on the top of the list.
So would you say
that's the one thing I want, yeah.
So would you say that you're definitely more interested in commentary at this point than you are competing?
I'm interested in running my team, KGE, the King's Guard. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boys. You know what I'm saying? I love every single one of y'all. Even when we have our arguments, man, it's all out of love.
So you're like a part owner of KG? Is that what you said? Or are you on the team? I
am a team lead.
Okay.
I am a team lead, and I've been doing that for years, many years.
Ooh, okay.
I want to help.
Now.
Yeah, we getting big. We got some new signings, man. We doing great, man. We showed up at Last Chance Qualifier with Hercules. We showed up at Defending North with Hurt, Just Measy, Bean Cell, you know what I'm saying?
Like half a top eight was KGE. I remember that.
Half a top 8 was KGE. We showed up at Evo. Y'all saw my boy Just Measy on the show on the tube, you know what I'm saying? Measy, absolutely getting it, man.
Top 100 player, like, you got ranked. So
yeah, like this
is good.
Yeah, man. And plus Miss, one of the best homelanders out here nowadays, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we just getting bigger and better. We getting bigger and better, man. And I want to focus on that, and I want to focus on comms, man. Like, of course, I'm gonna still compete because that's my first love, and I'm always love it. I'm always love competing. I'll never stop competing, even when I'm 55. I ain't gonna stop competing. You know what I'm saying? Yep. As long as I have these 2 hands and I have these 2 eyes, and I got a controller in my hand, that's all I need. That's how I feel about it. But I really, I want to get this final thing. I want to commentate that top 8 at a major.
So you feel sorry to cut you off, but you feel like if you get that commentary top 8, you can like move on to different like goals within the community, or what?
Yeah, I can. After that, I can stop being so jealous, you know, so happily jealous. I can stop being so jealous, man, because I look at because I did it for KIT and they know I can do it. That's the part that, because I feel like I'm so close. You know, it's even worse when you feel like you're so close. It's like when you get a 9-7 season and you miss the playoffs. It's like that. You know what I'm saying?
One game, one different, or
one game
play,
away.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody in my division did a little bit better, so they got it. They went 10-7, you know, and they got it. I feel like I'm right there. Because at first I didn't feel like that. At first I felt like, man, I'm gonna never get it. And I posted on Twitter before, man, I'm gonna never get it. I'm gonna never do it. But now I'm so close. I'm so close. I can taste it. I'm so close. I don't want it for nobody else. I want it for me. Because I know how much I love this, Poseidon. Like, I die for this, man. That's how much I loved it. That's how much I love MK. That's how much I love the scene. I've given up thousands of dollars to the scene.
Yeah, same.
Like,
absolutely.
Like, I've given up thousands.
Yeah,
and I would never ask for it back.
Tournaments. I can sub into people's channels. I can help people get to events, driving people to events. You know.
Yes, man. I paid for people's plane tickets to fly out places, and I'll never ask for it back. Because that's how much I love it.
Pay it forward. So I always think just
Yeah,
If you got the
that's
money, do it for
that's
someone else. Yeah.
that's how much I love it, Poseidon.
Mm.
And I feel like I deserve this.
No, you do. I think you've done a lot just from like the beginning, what you talked about, your origin story to where you got now. It's been such a long journey for you for a journey, but it's filled with a lot of defeat too. And like I think like the more L's you're willing to take, the bigger the reward's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like you, from your life, whether that's real life or the FGC, you have overcome. You've taken some L's, but you just kept going, and now you're at this point.
And now I'm here, man. Like I got a whole team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A team that I
A
built
family.
that I built from the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
From the dirt, man. And now
No,
we
you're
a force
legit
out
team.
here.
Yeah, you're a legit team. Multiple top 100 players, like you said. You guys are all at Defending North. Bean went on a crazy run at Evo. The Mist is one of the best homelanders. He finished right outside the top 100. I did like a 101 through 110, and Mist was actually right at 110. So this is a super good player from Tri-State. Like he's won on some runs at NKNJ. One of the best homelander players, on that Janet. I feel like most homelanders have moved over to the Farah. But
To the Farah, yeah. He's still sticking with Janet.
Still sticking with Janet.
He
Still
said
sick.
he just likes the Janet.
Yeah, he got, I think, fourth. Vape coached on like a morning tournament, and there was just a bunch of like killers from EU, and he got fourth at the tournament. He did really good. He may have entered a tournament yesterday and lost 3-2 to a certain reptile player, but we won't talk about that. Yeah, we won't talk about that. We ain't talking about me today. But,
I love what all my boys doing at KGE, at Kingsguard, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love the homie Pro Stone, who's the owner, who believed in me, came up to me at KIT. He was like, man, I felt how passionate you were. I know how passionate you are. I want you to be a part of this team forever. You know what I'm saying? And we know things happen, but until things happen, then I'm there. Until somebody giving me some money, then I'm like, oh my goodness.
or fly me out to events, and
like, you know what I'm saying?
And you want 6 figures, you're like, oh, sorry for I built up this team, but I gotta do what I gotta do. No, I get it.
Oh yeah. So like he believed in me. The team believed in me, and now I believe in these new crop of players that we got.
Mm-hmm.
Like I believe in my skills as a player. I feel like, what I'm saying, you can't put too many people in front of me and I wouldn't beat them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even to this day, even when I'm focusing on commentary, you still can't put people in front of me and I wouldn't beat them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
You can take that like analytical approach because you're watching the game a lot and stuff. So like you kind of see like, oh, this person did this to counter it, and then now you know that for you.
So like, yeah, I feel like I could break down a game better than most people on Earth can. Mm-hmm. And you got to understand, Poseidon, even in the FGC itself, we're an anomaly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We help grow the scene.
Yeah.
We help grow this. When people try to tear down our scene, we help grow the scene.
Oh, dude, I was fighting.
And we will continue to grow the scene until we can't do it no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And that's really what I'm gonna keep doing. So even if I get this top 8 at a major, I get the commentator top 8 at a major, and I'm like, you know what, man? I just want to be in the background now. I'm going to still build the scene because I love this scene, because this scene gave me so much that I can never give back. And it's not monetary-wise. This scene gave me passion. It gave me the pride. It allowed me to be myself. I ain't got to lie to nobody no more. I ain't got to steal from nobody. I ain't got to fake who I am. I ain't got to say one thing to somebody and then one thing to somebody else. Nah, I could just be me. And even if some people don't like Victor Freeze, they will never say that Victor Freeze gypped him, that Victor Freeze, got him out of some money, that Victor Freeze, he a fake person. He ain't like that offline. Nah, I'm the same person. I'm still gonna be me. I'm still that same boy from New Orleans, Louisiana, Ninth Ward, Valentine Magnolia. I'm always gonna be that boy. I'm always going to be him. But you know what also that means? That means I ain't never going to mess over you. I'm always going to help you. I'm always going to love you. You know what I'm saying? And as long as you love the scene, I love you, because I love this scene and I love everybody in this scene. You know what I'm saying? Even if we don't get along sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
I love that.
And that's just how it's going to be. Forever.
You got to restore the faith sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes just hearing the story and just, you just really, sometimes you just need to relight the flame. Sometimes you just hear a lot of stuff. I made a tweet yesterday, and like, dude, so many people just were hurling insults at MK, this and that. It can get it's not like I wasn't tripping over it all. It's just like, damn, like a lot of people just don't like MK for some reason. So sometimes hearing the story is definitely, resparking the flame a bit. It wasn't really
since
dimming.
MK9. People
yeah.
People have been hating on MK since forever.
It's
Ever
stories all
since
the
I
time.
played MK, people hated. Oh, you ain't playing Street Fighter? That's always been the case. I like people was like, oh, like that's just how it is now. It's like, nah, it's been that way forever. It's always been, man. Why ain't you playing King of Fighters or something? Or why ain't you playing Tekken? Or I play Tekken too, but why ain't you playing Street Fighter? Or why you playing this party game? Like people have been calling MK a party game forever.
Yeah.
Like it hasn't been just MK1 or MK11. It's been that way forever.
Time. Yeah. Just crazy.
It's been that way
because I've only been around, so I got into the scene like right at the end of Injustice 2, where I started like watching it. I just got the game, so I was like still a noob. MK11 was the first time I actually sat down to like officially learn like an MK game, learn like traditional fighting game mechanics because I was involved in the Smash scene. So like just coming in that like the end of Injustice 2, like I just saw a lot of like people didn't like Injustice 2, then MK11's like immediately. People don't like MK11. Crushing blows suck. Characters suck. There's no diversity. There's no freedom in their combos. Blah blah blah. And then it's like, all right. And then the MK11's out forever, 4 years. You have to deal with that over and over. And then MK1 comes out.
At the end of MK11 Poseidon, it was shit on every day.
Yeah,
every single day. And people want to sweep that under the rug, like, oh no, we love
MK11.
No,
yeah, no, you did not.
Absolutely not.
I want to hear a single word.
I will not let somebody lie like that to my face when I had to defend MK11 for 2 years straight after they said, yeah, we done with y'all.
From when the the shutdown happened to like when MK1 came out, it was like an odd day if I didn't play MK11. Like at some point, like I streamed it, or I just got in and played some ranked, or I labbed something. That was a big thing. Like when I first got into the game, I think that's something that helped me is I would like just go to the lab. Like I would lab, I would practice like movement, I would practice my combos, and that's like all I did for like months. And then I would go to offlines like that. And I think that's something that helped me, but like that was just fun, and I enjoyed that. And the movement in MK11, I feel like I still miss. I feel like that was great, with the block dashing and stuff, and just the wave dashing. And I think the movement in this game is pretty good too. I think that's
I just couldn't deal with flawless block on hit.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
Flawless block on hit. I won't lie. I had fun with that. It was definitely annoying, but it was fun. Because then you mix up people's timing. Because then you down one, you hit them, and then they're trying to like just. So then they do like a stand two because they're trying to up two, and then you punish them for that. Like it just added another layer that I know a lot of people didn't like. You're like, oh, I want to jail on hit, which is fair, but I thought it was fun.
I mean, it had this charm. And nobody ever make me hate MK11 because man, bro, it got me everywhere I needed to go.
That was the game that got you to that next time.
Yeah, it got me everywhere I needed to go. I thought it was gonna be Injustice 2 for me, but I wasn't as good as in Injustice 2. You know what I'm saying? But when MK11 came through, that was the game. When I was like, when I first saw Raiden, and I will not kid you, I'll call my brother right now. He'll tell you when I first saw Raiden, right, in the launch trailer, which is still that's still my favorite launch trailer, by the way. MK11's launch trailer, still my favorite.
There's a good one.
When when the thunder hit, you see the logo, right, and then you just see Dark Raiden. That's my favorite iteration of Raiden. Dark Raiden. He got the red lightning. He kicking Scorpion's chest in. I'm like, I'm maining Raiden in this game, bro.
And you were one of the best.
And I was one of the look. I had to cut top 5 Raiden. I'm not 5. One of the only Raiden players to pilot Raiden all the way, never switch, and get top 16 at a major. One of those players was me. You know what I'm saying? I was a top 100 player at one point. Like I was that, so I don't need to be that again. You know what I'm saying? I already was that.
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment for me. What I want to do is I want to get top 100 in MK, get top 100 in Melee, and I wonder once I get that, what I'll proceed to. But for now, that's one of the big things I'm chasing.
Oh yeah, and the only reason I main Raiden the whole way is because you know how one time they had that thing like, oh, who's the top Raiden players, right? And they had a poll
or whatever,
and I wasn't on that poll, and I was like, that's kind of interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of interesting. Why ain't I on that poll? And they was like, we don't know who you are, and I was like, all right, bet. So at the end of the game, let me show you. At the end of the game, guess who was on that motherfucking poll? You know what I'm saying?
Victor Freeze.
Like Victor Freeze was on that poll. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't just a top 100 player. Some would argue I was a top 50 player. I was that good. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I could go to any event and get top 8. There was a time where I had a string of top 8s at events, string of tournament victories at events for MK11. You know why? Because I was that damn good. You know, but I don't need that now. You know, I don't like. It's always good to beat up on a person. You know what I'm saying? That's always fun. You know what I'm saying? But I don't need that no more. You know, I got so close to the mountaintop, and once you get close to the mountaintop, I was like, man,
do I really need to go?
I don't necessarily
go that
need
2 more steps, you know, to like, do I need to hit the summit? Like, I reached this point, and you know, that was satisfying. You know what I mean? And
it also gets to a point where it's like, I think to get past that point that I was at, I would actually have to like know life the game. Like,
yeah, no, I feel that.
And not everybody has to do that, but I'm not as naturally talented as other people.
100%.
Like I really have to grind something out.
Same way. So I really need to like grind it out. I can't just like, I don't just pick it up
I
that
can't
quickly.
just wake
I'm
up and
slow.
be
I
good.
learn a new character, and it looks bad for a while, but I'm willing to grind it out. I'm willing to get my ass.
I'm not Sonic Fox. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
learned a long time ago. I'm not Sonic Fox. I'm not Rewind. I'm not Hayate. I need to grind something out.
Yeah.
100%. So I felt like to get past that point, I would have to know life it. And I was like, you know what? I got this far by being Victor Freeze, and that was good enough for me.
Yeah. Over here, because yeah, no, I thought I had something to say, but lost it. But yeah, man, I loved hearing the story. It was awesome. And before I let you go, because I've already taken a decent amount of your time, I want to talk about this book right here. Right here, I got Victor Freeze's Let's Play Gods. I've been reading it, and just based off of your story that you told tonight, I can see some of like the real life like things that you talked about, you've gone through, or goals that you had that like kind of a little bit like in the book. Because in a way, I read like the main character. I see you, because when you read a book, you know, you pretty much make up like you'll get a description, but like you make up the own vision of the character. And whenever I see like the main character, I think of you. And so, and I can like see it, like, you know, like his personality coming out, like, you know, he's confident, but you know, deep down he, you know, has some insecurities, and he's definitely not afraid to let his emotions out and stuff. But like, you know, he'll talk shit with anyone. He believes he's the best and stuff. So, would you say that's accurate? And you want to talk us through the, you know, like the ideas behind the book, and you know, we'll let you write it.
Oh yeah, man. So Let's Play Gods. You can still buy it, man. It was also.
I'll leave a link in the description. If you're this far, take a look. Take a look. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Perfect, man. I've sold over 1,000 copies of this book. I've sold thousands of copies of this book. So
nice.
Like,
good.
And the FGC helped out so much with that. By the way, shout out to the FGC.
I remember you were commentating the tournament, and they just threw it out there, and I like the link. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna buy it.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. So it took me 6 years to write this book. It took me all the way from junior year of high school to when I got out of college to write this book. And it's basically about, you know, if Greek god powers give it to people of color, people from my neck of the woods, you know what I'm saying? And it, because I used to read Percy Jackson a lot, if you know what that series is.
Yeah, I know what it is. I haven't like read it.
I love those books.
Yeah.
Like, I love them. I still have the collection of those books. Right?
I've been told to read them because I'm yeah.
Oh yeah, you should read them, man. They're great. They're great books. But I was like, man, this ain't hardcore enough for me. I don't know why I thought that, but I was like, you know what, this ain't hardcore enough.
Yeah, because I can definitely see the inspiration of like, it's kind of like one of those like children level like superpower shows in a way, but it has like a more like adult or like mature feel to it for sure.
Yes, man. So I was you know, it's crazy. My grandma, even though she's super religious, she was like, well, you keep talking about this book, you might as well go and write it. But I was like, but grandma, like, you ain't gonna like what's in the book that I write. Right? And she was like, it doesn't matter if I like it, I'm gonna just buy it and not read it. I'll buy it and not read it for you. So I was like, okay. So I started to write. Now you'll be very surprised. The rough draft, it was a lot worse than that.
Yeah.
The rough draft, there was a lot of killing, there was a lot of murder, there was a lot of
you dialed it back.
Well, my publishers was like, you know, maybe Maybe, maybe you know, what I'm saying, maybe we should dial it back, which is code word for we ain't publishing this unless you dial it back. So I was like, all right, bet. So, and I think the tones of the book are really great because it deals with a lot of adult problems. Like it deals with a lot of problems that you would have if you get superpowers one day, but
Mhm.
also the result of you getting superpowers is there's a lot of people dead.
Yeah,
You
heavy as
know,
the
like
head. Heavy as the head, right?
yeah, heavy
Mhm.
as a head. There's a
Mhm.
lot of people dead. Now there's a lot of people that want you to work with them, which would
Mhm.
happen if somebody just magically got superpowers one day.
Yeah.
The government would be like, well, we got to
Yeah,
make sure
heavy
they're
as the
not a
head.
threat to us. Can they work with us? And
Mm.
plus, there's some other threats. You know, maybe they ain't recover everybody that was in that blast that gave everybody those superpowers. Maybe there's
Mhm.
some forces we don't see.
Mhm.
But also, what are the people that have these powers? What are they gonna do with them?
Mhm.
Because there's a lot of people that would say, "Oh, when I get them, I'm gonna be a hero and I'm save people." And
Mhm.
but that's not everybody's motive. That's not
No,
everybody's goal.
absolutely not.
You know what I'm
Those
saying?
super
And
villains for
also,
a
not
reason.
everybody's goal is I'm a rob a bank either.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Some people have some different goals, some bigger goals. Maybe they're
Mhm.
for good, maybe they're for bad. We don't know. Maybe people are lying to themselves too, because one of the major themes of the book is okay, I need to save the world, but why am I doing it?
Mhm. And then you're like,
And
well, maybe I should shape the
that's a
world in my own image. But then it's like, all right.
yes.
Then it's like you start to get a little narcissism. Like, oh, I'm the most powerful thing. Everyone should just gonna
Hmm.
have to listen to me. So yeah.
And the main character deals with that a lot. And as
Mm-hmm.
you go through the book, you see his motives and his thinking.
Mm-hmm.
You see it change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is it for the better? Maybe not. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but but from the outside looking in, he's doing the right thing. He's
Mm-hmm.
saving the world. He's doing that. So
Mm-hmm.
you, it's not like he's lying to anyone saying I'm going to save the world. He's doing that, but only a few people may know why.
Mm-hmm.
Only a few people may know what he really wants, what he really wants to do, and also what he really has inside of him.
Mm-hmm.
That because you ever heard the phrase absolute power corrupts absolutely?
Yep.
There you go.
Uh,
Absolute. If you have absolute power, it's not going to change who you are. It's just going to make you more of what you are.
yeah.
Just like if you get a lot of money, money doesn't change you. It just makes you more of what you are. And
Yeah.
if you lie to yourself about who you are, well, then that's your problem.
Yeah. And that's gonna lead to a lot of problems. 100%.
So yeah, like that's what the book is about. It has a lot of motives in it. It has a lot of
Mm-hmm.
now it has some death and murder in it. It's an adult book.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a kid's book. It's I probably wouldn't even classify it as a teen book.
Mm-hmm.
It's an adult book.
Yeah.
Like it has a lot of stuff that, you know what I'm saying, it'll be like, oh my God. And it has a lot of stuff in religion too. I know people get a little weird about that.
Yeah.
You gotta worry about that as well. But if you want a great book that
It,
deals with Greek powers, because I love the Greek pantheon, I love Greek mythology. I've
mm-hmm.
loved that ever since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So to write a book about it and to put my own spin on it,
I mean, yeah.
it's been a great
It
experience.
was right up my alley. I mean, attacks Poseidon. So I mean, like,
Yes.
So
And the
I mean,
person who gets Poseidon's powers is really cool, and he
yeah,
has a
really
story
cool.
as well.
Uh huh. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
He
Like,
has a big story.
mm. Yeah, no, it's really cool. Like how you develop all these characters and stuff, and add this like superhero aspect to it. But really speaking to like also the humanity within each person. Like they're not like gods or whatever. Like they're just humans who happen to get superpowers, and now they have this responsibility, and whether they use it for good or evil is almost up to at least where I'm at, the reader to interpret, which is really cool, and I think that it really adds to the elements of the book. Definitely check it. Like I said, in the description of the video. Check it out. I'll leave a link to his book if you want to buy it. Support Victor Fries. Help him put more time into commentary so we can get that top 8 commentary.
Absolutely.
So if you want to talk more about the book, you can, or if you just have anything else you want to say, you feel like we didn't get to talk about tonight, you want to shout about anything out, any of your social media, or I'll definitely make sure to leave a link in the description, but just anything, the floor is yours.
Oh yes, thank you, man. Well, I want to say shout out to Poseidon, man, for giving me this platform, man. I love him dearly, man. He's a goat, man. He does great things for our community. He's a great person, man. I listen to all the Poseidon podcast, man. You know what I'm saying? It's great. It's a great listen when I'm washing dishes or writing my next book. You know what I'm saying? I get to listen and I'm like, oh man, You know what I'm saying? Because Poseidon thinks how I think, you know what I'm saying? So it's always cool to listen. Shout out to Poseidon. Shout out to all the boys at SRTV. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Notchcast. Shout out to, you know what I'm saying, Silver Sandbag. You know what I'm saying? That's the homie right there. Shout out to everybody who works on that, man. A pillar of our community, man. Always giving back to the community, man. Never ask for anything in return. You know what I'm saying? He got nothing in those pockets. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I
my
can
pockets are
confirm.
empty. Trust me. My phone
Pockets are empty,
doesn't
man.
work, dude. My wallet's empty. Actually, I did win the local recently, so got a little cash. But it's gonna go back into events and stuff like that, where it's gonna help me get to another tournament. So.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I want to say shout out to my boys at KGE, man. We are on the rise. We are coming up. We trying to take over some stuff, and we going to offlines. Our main goal for KGE is to get people to offline,
I love
man,
that.
because the online scene is good and
Mhm.
it's to be respected. But you only get real respect when you go offline and put in work.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%,
So
I love it.
we gonna get people to these offlines, man.
Yeah. And it's really, I feel like the community kind of needs, sorry to cut you off, but it really needs to coordinate like what events like people are really going to go out to, because it's like some of these numbers aren't looking great. So some more community focused, like, oh, let's get Evos happen on this day, let's get people out there and stuff like that. Or like this, like, just put the idea in people's heads earlier, because a lot of people, like me, just classic FGC people, plan last second. They'll always be like, "Oh, I'm gonna go," and then it's a month before, and the tickets are $500, and you don't have
$500, boy. We ain't going.
And you haven't
now.
registered yet, and it's like $100 reg fee. You're like, I don't have $800 when it like would have been half price. If you planned it ahead, you would have had somewhere to stay and stuff. So definitely, I think it should like the NRS community is the people that play the game. It's not NRS. It's not the people who develop the game. Those are the developers. The NRS community, people who play the game, is the people that go to these tournaments and stuff like that. So we have to, have a little bit of a grassroots feel, and it would really be cool to, all come out in full force to some of these, bigger offline tournaments.
Oh yeah, big facts, man. We need more people out there, man. That's like I said, that's the whole thing for KGE. We try to get all of our players out there, or at least the players that can go. That's not preoccupied with something else.
Oh yeah,
like I said, we had a big presence at Evo. We had a big presence at Defender North. We had a big presence at CEO. So we had our boy Hercules putting in work on the LCQ Last Chance qualifier. That boy was out there taking names, man.
13th,
so all in the name of KGE, man. So and that's our main goal at KGE. So hey, listen, if y'all want to join up, look, just hit me up, Victor Freeze 504 on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? That's where you can hit me up. Look, we can get something popping. Shout out to all my Mash House boys, man. Shout out to Icy Boogie. Shout out to Big Trill. Shout out to ISO Ricky. Shout out to Cusco, Corey the Dragon, Oni-san. Shout out to ISO Ricky. Shout out to Akuma. Shout out to Narligato Alex. Shout out to Micah, man. Shout out to my boy Morden, man. Shout out to everybody at Mash House that can make that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Mash House. It wouldn't be Victor Freeze if it would be no Victor Freeze without Mash House. I want everybody to remember that. It would still be Dragon Fist Dexter if it wasn't for Mash House. I can promise you that. It's Victor Freeze now. My gamer tag used to be Dragon Fist Dexter, man. A lot of people don't know that tag, but it was that boy that was talking crazy at MK. That's what that tag was. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to all the Mash House boys. I want to say, if there's one thing you take away from this, for anyone who listens, and this is gonna be the last thing I say. If a man from the ghetto that wasn't supposed to live past 21, if he can do all of this just by having a passion and following it, just think of what you can do. Because I wasn't supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't supposed to make it to 28. I wasn't supposed to make it out the hood. I wasn't supposed to make it to these events. I wasn't supposed to be commentating in front of 1,000 people, 5,000 people. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't supposed to write a book that sold in the thousands. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't supposed to, be a ranked 100 player. I wasn't supposed to get 9th place at Combo Breaker, make top 8 at NEC. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't supposed to be the king of Oklahoma, man. I wasn't supposed to go out to Oklahoma and see the Oklahoma boys. They showed me all kinds of love. Shout out to all the boys in Oklahoma, man. They opened their arms up to me, man, and we had a tournament and it was killer. I ended up winning, but anyone could have won that tournament, man. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't supposed to make it out my state. I didn't know what any other states looked like. I'm not good with a map. I haven't been up to the I hadn't been up to the Midwest before MK. I haven't been to the West Coast before MK, to the East Coast before MK. You know what I'm saying? The only time I would go out my state was for church. I wasn't supposed to make it out my state. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I did all that. With my own merit, on my own too. I did all that. Even when I didn't have all the answers, I knew I had some of them. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I had some of the answers. I ain't have all the answers. I had some of them.
Mhm.
And if I can do that, and I'm still going to this day, and I'm gonna keep going until I can't go no more. If I can do that, what can y'all do? Y'all got way more talent than me. I'm not naturally talented at video games. I
Mhm.
had to earn everything. I had to work for everything. You know what I'm saying? I had to
Mhm.
really grind out frame data and look up things and look up videos, combo video. I'm not good at making combos myself. I suck at video games.
Mhm.
But I was able to do it. And I was able to become a top player, not only in one video game, but two, because I'm a top player in Tekken as well. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even get to that part. That's for another story. That's for another time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I can do all of that, what can y'all do who have talent, who have more skills, who have better hand-eye coordination, who from the start y'all know about these events.
Mhm.
Y'all know about what can happen. Y'all seen Sonic Fox since y'all was young. Y'all seen Rewind, Ninja Killer, all that since y'all was young. Hey, y'all can recreate that. Y'all can do way better than me, man. Just give it a chance. Even if you think nobody gonna like you, man, there's gonna be people out here that not only love you, they also respect you. They ain't gonna hate you for who you are, man. They ain't gonna make you change who you are. You know what I'm saying? They gonna love you for you.
Mhm.
You gonna have people here that love you for you. That be like that would get mad at you if you change. That would get mad at you if you act different one day because you want to impress people.
Mhm.
You got people out here that love you. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
No,
saying?
facts.
Y'all
There's
can
people.
do y'all can do everything in this scene, and not only in this scene, but in anything you aspire to do. If you just put in the work.
Like there's a whole
A
community out here
man,
waiting for you.
a man from the ghetto, a man from the hood, a man that grew up knowing what a gun sound was before knowing what a book looked like. I went from that to being a top ranked player at a
Video
fighting
game.
game that I'd give my life for. So what can y'all do? That's the last word on it.
All right, love to hear it, man. Well, that's Victor Freeze, everybody, from beginning to end. Love to hear it, man. And it was great having you. And thank you all for watching out there. And I'll see you guys at the next video.